Hello and welcome to the first ever video review by ConsoleGaming.eu. In this video we'll be looking at the Call of Duty Black Ops map pack Annihilation, which was released at the end of June on the Xbox Live Marketplace for the princely sum of 1200 Microsoft points. Let's take a look at what you would be paying for. The map drive-in is set at the dusty 60s era Galactic Drive-In movie theatre, complete with its sci-fi films and space race theme. Rockets and all things astronomical can be seen everywhere, from the kiddies' playground to the ice cream shop. It can be divided into three rough areas: the retail park with its gaming, arcade and shops, the movie theatre, a strip down the middle of the map between the spawns, and the trailer park, a scruffy set of trailers set around the drive-in itself. Each area offers a different style of combat. The retail park offers building-to-building fighting, familiar to fans of the series. Snipers can duke it out along the drive-in parking lot, between the large cinema screen at one end and the area around the projector building at the other, while the trailer park and the trash piles are completely close quarters and are suited to shotgun and SMG users. One thing you notice about Drive-In, and indeed all of the new maps, is that it's much more cluttered and detailed than any of its forebearers, and this really shows the results of Treyarch's ongoing efforts to optimize the game's aging engine. It's clear that the increased number of map objects doesn't impact the game's performance, and for the most part solid frame rate. Fans of the single-player campaign will be interested to find a few shipping containers full of Nova 6 gas dotted around the map, which shows a surprising amount of continuity with the campaign, and implies that the Galactic Drive-In Theatre was one of the sites mentioned in the campaign where Russian sleeper cells were intended to release their gas in an attack on the Americans. It also makes sense therefore that the Black Ops team spawns near the gate with the parked army trucks, while the Spetsnaz spawn inside the trailer park at the opposite end. Drive-In is the smallest of the four new maps, and it's the one that offers the most intense straight-line firefights. Although, like the majority of COD maps, the battle gets chased around the outside of ultimately what becomes a circular map. Finally, Easter egg fans, and let's face it, Treyarch are themselves fans of putting Easter eggs in their games, should look out for the arcade machines in the arcade, including the Hazard golf game and the World at War machine with the MP40 machine gun. Hangar 18 finally takes Black Ops home to Area 51, the not-so-secret Nevada facility that remains the capital city of so-called black projects. As a map, Hangar 18 is remarkably similar to Treyarch's old hangar map from World at War, a large aircraft-filled hangar surrounded by a host of supporting structures. While the hangar from World at War turned into those that control the hangar versus those that didn't, Hangar 18 is more symmetrical, and often neither team will find themselves in control of what is a massive hangar area with multiple entrances. Teams spawn on either side of the hangar, and many players elect to avoid it altogether, focusing instead on working around the outlying buildings, or entering the building from one of the side entrances. The giant SR-71 Blackbird spy plane finally gets a physical representation as a game object, after being called in by players on every map since the very beginning of Black Ops. In fact, one of the more unusual ways to enter the hangar is to be found by climbing up on the giant Blackbird parked in the hangar itself, and walking along the fuselage inside. As for sniffing around for classified alien stuff, an apple levitating in an electric field and an autopsy room are about as strange as it gets. Despite being fairly strange, it's nowhere near as crazy as they could have made it, so flying saucer hunters beware. Treyarch had definitely focused on the functioning, realistic Groom Lake facility, which during the Cold War was an important base of operations for America's aerial intelligence services, and it's not the conspiracy theory base of fiction. Window dressing aside, the map plays in a very similar way to a number of Black Ops maps, and even maps such as Stockpile from the DLC. Players fight building to building, clear rooms of the next building, loop around the map, and then do it all again. Hazard is the only truly original setting for a map in this set of DLC, and in a similar way it's also the only map that doesn't involve a battle between the Russians and a Black Ops team. Hazard happens to be fought out on a short par 3 first hole of the luxurious El Castillo Verde Golf Club, or Green Castle Golf Club, situated on the tranquil coast of Cuba. The name Green Castle Golf Club pretty much sums it up, a preened and groomed pre-Castro era golf club winding its way through the ruins of an old leafy castle fort, complete with coastal guns. Now in the hands of Castro's henchmen, it has become a target of opportunity for an Op-4 task force attack, and this is the scene at the start of the map. Scattered golfing paraphernalia are testament to an expensive round of golf having been interrupted by the attack. The Op-4 spawn by the coastline, while the troopers spawn on the higher ground near the exclusive resort. Fans of COD 4 may share the same idea as me, in that the map plays in a similar way to Block from COD 4, and that there is a mixture of end-to-end sniping crossways, and a rat run of narrow paths around the outside of the map for those not interested in sniping, but rather killing snipers at close range. The sea and cliff face bracket one side, the golf course result the other side, and there is a long rectangular fairway through the middle. The fairway is one of those shooting alleys that developers include to appease their sniper fans, and it has some of the longest sightlines in any Black Ops map. Ultimately, it's long and straight with plenty of room for snipers to get their kills by facing off against each other, while everyone else moves around the outsides. This does make the sides very congested, and it can be easy for one player to lock down a path by keeping his or her iron sights on a corner. The perimeter of the map is made a little less linear by being dotted with some small golf-related buildings such as the clubhouse bar, golf shop, scoring shed, and groundskeeper quarters, which alters the flow of the perimeter battles and makes the map more interesting. If I can praise Treyarch for the originality of Hazard, then I can criticise them for the lack of it when it comes to Silo. Fans of the series have spent hours and hours fighting in a missile base before, in Countdown and COD 4. Granted, these maps are pretty different structurally, but the theme-wise they're nearly identical. But as I was saying with an Area 51 inspired map, you can't blame them for wanting to explore the very epicenter of what the two factions were fighting for, namely to stop their nation being attacked by nuclear weapons. In terms of the layout of the map, Corrie from Modern Warfare 2 comes to mind, complete with the building site. It's full of tight, sharp corners, choke points, watchover points, tunnels, and a large dark control room that just invites camping. Silo can be divided into two distinct halves, the built-up Russian area with the control room and motor pool buildings, and the downhill gate area with the silos under construction, where the Black Ops team enter the map. In the background you can see several ICBMs taking off, which apart from adding visual flair to the map, has the effect of making those 7.1 surround headphones harder to use. Dotted around the map are signs of missile assembly, the ground being broken to prep new silos, and a bare-bones Soviet-style control room. The Spetsnaz arrives from a fallout bunker near the back of the control room while the Black Ops team spawn at the gates, presumably in an attempt to storm the control room and stop a nuclear missile launch. Following the tried and tested formula of 4 multiplayer maps and 1 zombie map, Shangri-La is the zombie offering this time around. It keeps the open airy feel from the last zombie map, but extends on it and makes it more interactive than ever. The sense of player freedom is such that it's easy to forget that it's the same old formula of walls and barriers at work. It feels completely different to what has come before, and yet retains the same elements so familiar to zombie players. Initially it looks as if you are lost in an abandoned but monkey-infested temple in the middle of a jungle. But as you progress you unlock new parts of the map containing machinery and mechanical devices. These require all of the players to work as a unit and to synchronize and organize themselves. This outdoorsy version of zombies has the chance to attract new fans to the game, and to my knowledge it has already converted players to zombies who disliked it before. New weapons, player-activated traps and moving parts of the map such as the water slides and mine carts make this one of the most involving zombie maps to date. One serious problem that must be mentioned is that the matchmaking system when trying to find a public game of Shangri-La is at best dysfunctional, where it splits up parties or at worst completely broken. Thankfully inviting friends to the game works perfectly. Hopefully in time these problems will be fixed, but for now it's something to be aware of. In conclusion, these maps have delivered exactly what you've come to expect from Call of Duty map packs, whether that is a good thing or not these days. One thing that's missing from this review is the one thing that's missing from the new maps, namely the user interactive elements that were in the last map pack. These were pretty special, and I would have expected Treyarch to expand on this and offer more doors, lifts, and even the Unreal Tournament style usable traps in their maps. What I didn't expect is for those elements to be completely absent in the multiplayer maps, although to a large extent they have been included in the Shangri-La zombie map. As always, these maps are for the fans of the series and are not likely to attract new players to Black Ops. These are for COD fans only.